Thank you so much. You may be seated. I want to welcome members of our senior administration, Professor Kathy Park-Twaits, our principal. I see a few deans here, heads of department, and our students and staff. Welcome, and those who are joining us by live stream. So we'll start by asking Principal Weber, who has been very supportive of this initiative, to come and give some greetings. Please welcome him.
Good morning, Dr. Stanberry. Good morning, Honorable Minister, members of the executive team, staff, students, media, friends, foes, everybody. Good morning to you all. Good morning to you all. Okay. Welcome to the UWI in its 75th year, rooted, ready, and rising, our health and wellness fair. This idea came up at the very start of the year. We're trying to determine what should we do, how do we make a difference, and we wanted to make that difference for our students and staff. We were following the Honorable Minister who do our Jamaica moves. You go to Trinidad now, as you get to the airport, you see Trinidad moves. You go to Antigua, you see Antigua moves. So we're saying, why isn't Mona moving? Moreover, if you know the minister like I know him, he is a ring road champion. So he's moving. So we decide we should bring him up here and show him that we are embracing UWI moves, Mona moves, and taking it on board. The World Health Organization says that 11 minutes of exercise, and it don't have to be no kill yourself exercise, but 11 minutes of robust exercise, which is 50% of what's required, can make a difference. It'll lower risk of early death. It'll also lower the risk of chronic diseases. 11 minutes. It sounds like a lot, don't it? Well, the walk from Irving Gate to Faculty of Science is 11 minutes. The walk from Medical Sciences to Georgia Lane Hall is 11 minutes. And 2 laps of the ring road is 11 minutes. Your mission, should you accept, is to do more walking and less driving. Park and walk. Your mission is to take the stairs rather than the elevator. Your mission is to get the mindset so that you can continue doing what's right. So under our AAA access, we have provided access today by having partners, the NHF, Sagicor, NCB, LASCO, Grace Foods and Services, CariMed, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness are all here for the day on display. From within, we have the Health Center, Mona Aging and Wellness, who, by the way, are doing vaccines if you still want, as well as flu shots. The bookshop, Faculty of Sports, Health Connect, and MSB, who are all here and helping us make a day of this. But beyond the day, this is the beginning, this is the launch. Beyond the day, we will continue to move. But I know that you will hear more about that from other speakers. I therefore want to say we've given you access. We're aligning with many partners. And after today, you will become more agile, even if it's for 11 minutes. I thank you all for being here. I welcome you and look forward to the rest of today and the rest of our Mona Moves life. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Principal. Can I recommend that you move my parking space a little further that I can do my 11 minutes? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, this is not just a PR stunt or a gimmick. We do, in fact, have a program called Mona Moves, which we are rolling out today, and which we are going to ensure that endures beyond today and continues. So to tell us more about that, we are going to invite our Dean of the Faculty of Sport, Dr. Mansingh, to come and tell us about that. Please welcome him.
With the protocols established robustly by our principal, I'll just say all protocols observed. Welcome, Minister. When an athlete falls to the ground, that's probably the only time people think of a sports medicine specialist, when the doctors and the physiotherapists go running out. Some people think of sports medicine specialists as persons who enhance the potential of an athlete, making them run faster, do things stronger, etc. But that's only half of the story. The other half of sports medicine is the control of non-communicable diseases or lifestyle diseases with the use of exercise. And every sports medicine specialist, half of their training is in how to do that through exercise prescriptions. Now, whereas UWI Mona started spreading the word throughout the region over 15 years ago by producing sports medicine physicians and sports medicine physiotherapists versed in exercise prescriptions and the likes, it's formally coming home to Mona today, 15 years later. In athletes, we say improving performance. But in non-athletes, we talk about improving functional capacity. And just as in an athlete, you can improve performance through exercise, likewise in non-athletes, you can improve functional performance through exercise as well. I say this because non-communicable diseases account for about 60% of all deaths and is the greatest cause of morbidity and mortality in developing countries. Twice as many deaths than HIV, malaria, TB, and infectious diseases combined. Or to put it another way, physical inactivity is the 4th largest risk factor of death. So why is UWI Move so important? Regular exercise, as you heard, increases life expectancy by controlling or preventing hypertension, diabetes, stroke, many types of cancer, arthritis. It reduces the risk of falls and getting fractures, but it also reduces things like depression and anxiety. So exercise not only affects your physical well-being, but it has a major effect on your mental well-being and actually improves brain function with aging. And then there's the feel-good factor, with improvement in mood and self-esteem. It also improves sleep for those people who are sleep-deprived. Exercise alone can improve the quality and duration of sleep. And overall, regular exercise, and regular is the key here, reduces mortality by 36%. So it's not just about losing weight, it's about improving quality of life. Yet physical activity guidelines are followed by only 20% of Norwegians. It gets worse, 8% of Americans, 5% of British. And though we don't have local data, our sister country, Bahamas, 55% of males and 30% of, 55% of females and 30% of males were physically inactive. 70% of youth are inactive in Bahamas, and 81% of adolescents worldwide are considered inactive. 81%. And I have to point out the Caribbean is the fastest growing population of obesity. Currently, the effects of non-communicable diseases is costing about 2% of the global GDP, almost 6% of Jamaica's GDP. But there's a misconception principle. There's a misconception that walking is adequate. In fact, walking is good for your cardiac health. But for an overall health program, you have to pay attention to endurance, which is the walking or running or whatever, to strength, to balance, and to flexibility. It has to be all of them. And that can be achieved by playing sports, doing housework, gardening, walking around campus, but better done with weights in your hands. So carry some books or carry your briefcase or something. But it needs to be done regularly and consistently. This is where UWI Moves comes in. Now, UWI Moves started BC, before COVID. The thing is that we're thwarted by COVID in terms of rolling it out in a big way. It was no doubt inspired, the nomenclature was inspired by Jamaica Moves and the initiative put on by the minister and his ministry, but UWI Moves had started quite robustly and quite nicely until COVID put a spoke into the wheels. We're back now, and we're back in a bigger way, and we're back with a lot more enrollment. The strength and conditioning programs are offered through the Sports Medicine Clinic, which looks after not only UWI athletes and elite athletes, but persons from within and outside of the UWI system. The strength and conditioning programs are offered from early morning to late evening and during lunchtime as well. Having specialists in sports medicine allows us to formulate programs for your age or for you individually to ensure that maximum benefit is derived for the time you spend there. With this campus-wide initiative on health and wellness, we see this program as being central in achieving many of the goals. So the last thing I'll tell you is that with regular exercise, one is able to reduce health costs by about 15% at the latter part of your life, in general. For persons, you can actually reduce your personal health costs by 10 to 22% per year. That's important because it not only affects your pocket, but if we can do this collectively, we can then go to agencies like the health insurance companies and so on and get reduced premiums because we're showing an effort to try and reduce those things that they have to pay for later on in life. So the Faculty of Sport is proud to be involved with UWI Moves campaign and the promotion of health and wellness across campus. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mansingh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to have in our presence today the Minister of Health and Wellness. I want to congratulate him for accentuating the wellness aspect of his portfolio. And even the other aspect, we remember him as the face of the COVID response, and I think he has done a good job. We are very fortunate to have him today. Please welcome Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton.
Thank you very much, Donovan. I can't call him Donovan, you know, he used to work with me many years ago. And him look a little younger, so the stress up here is not enough, I must say. Right, Principal? And Principal, I admire your energy. You know, when you were sworn in as Principal, I came and listened to your acceptance speech. You never had as much energy now that as you did now that you're leaving, so I'm not sure what that means. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mansingh, good to see you, sir. And you really have provided all the science behind why moving is important. So I'm not going to detain you with, you know, the NCD pandemic and the sort of impact it has had and why moving is important. You've heard it from Dr. Mansingh, and he's 150% correct. And I'm really proud and happy to see his engagement. And he has shed a few pounds also, so obviously he's moving also. But I'm happy to be here to participate in what really is a relaunch, because I recall as Minister of Health pre-COVID coming here to the campus and participating in some of the MOVES activities. I remember there's a hall, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. I'm a famous chancellor, right? I don't remember the name of any other hall, especially the more recent ones. But down at the bowl, I used to go down there a few evenings after work and work out with the students, and they had an active program. I'm sure you did it elsewhere. COVID came, and the rest is history. So it's good that we're recalling, and indeed, I think that it is more necessary now, post-COVID, than pre-COVID. You know, there are a lot of lessons that can be taken away from the COVID experience, a lot. And I'm putting those, I'm going to make sure that those are put on paper and placed in a space where generations to come can see and can inform themselves, but also learn, because we shouldn't allow a crisis to go to waste. But for these purposes, and in support of what you are doing here with Mona Moves, I would like to say in a very short statement that what COVID did for us was to tell us as a population how much our health was compromised and how vulnerable we are as a people. It is a global lesson, but Jamaica has to also learn the lessons so it can pivot and adjust to making itself more resilient. You know, over 3,500 persons died from the COVID pandemic as a matter of record. Last week was the third year since the first case of COVID came on March 10th. And there are a number of discussions. And one of the observations I made, which I made before, but I made again last week, is that the extent to which those victims of COVID, 3,500, passed because of complications from the COVID virus. They died, but the reality is, for the most part, they were already sick. In other words, their immune systems were compromised due to primarily lifestyle-related diseases. When we advanced the priority groups for taking the COVID vaccine as an important response, we started with the most vulnerable. And during those discussions, we tried to determine who represented the most vulnerable. Now, there are some obvious things, you know, the over 65s, But then you got into frontline workers, nurses, doctors on the front line, and then you started to dissect the population to determine who had compromised immune systems. And you almost had to make a universal call, because beyond a particular age cohort, meaning persons over 40, I would say, conservatively, what we realize is that the vast majority of the population had an underlying condition: hypertension, diabetes, some sort of cardiovascular related issues. And it is a result of many things, but lifestyle was the overwhelming dominant feature. And that was quite a profound lesson for me. And it's almost like, it's not that we didn't know it, but it brought it home even more forcefully. Because when you go to the hospitals and you saw the victims of the COVID virus, you recognize that there were many complications that they were suffering from, and that the virus actually hastened their demise, but they were already compromised. What does that mean today in a almost post-COVID environment? We still have COVID, but not as threatening. It means that we have to learn those lessons, and it means that we have to move towards recalibrating our response as a country, as a people, to be stronger and more resilient as a population. And us as leaders, myself in health, but every single one of you here, I consider this institution the creators of leaders. And so I pitch my argument slightly higher and even more complex than if I were, in the streets, in the communities. But as leaders, we are going to have to, whether we end up in health, in finance, in accounting, in whatever sphere, we are going to have to chart a way forward coming on the heels of a COVID pandemic, where we promote a culture of wellness as a critical component of lifestyle, living, work, play, family, community. And it is a radical shift that is required, which will hopefully enhance our capacity to confront future threats to our population, health-related threats, viruses. Hopefully we don't have another one for another 100 years, the likes of COVID. But there are other issues that would compromise our health systems, which we have to be very cognizant of. And so when the university decides to place an effort on physical activity and the benefits you would have heard, it is a good move in helping to develop and to change that behavior. It's not supposed to be an event. It's supposed to be a process that over time literally becomes a part of life, a way of living. And so we not only have to drive it at this level, we have to drive it within the school system. What I'm hoping for is that a Mona moves or Jamaica moves or any other moves as the case may be. We have it now in the Caribbean. We have Caribbean moves, we have Trinidad moves, Antigua moves, St. Kitts and Nevis moves, and so on. And we're proud that we helped to chart that course. That it is symbolic and tangible, not just of physical activity, but of how we develop a wellness culture within our society. Now, I have a theory about wellness. I promulgated and convinced the Honorable Prime Minister to change the ministry from health and wellness, because I felt when I was appointed that we needed to broaden the definition of health. It's not just about hospital beds and operating theater. It's about lifestyle, because that's the core challenge that we face, changing lifestyle in order to benefit from longevity of life, quality of life, happiness, contentment, etc. And that wellness culture, to my mind, comprises several things, which I hope Mona Moves will also represent. Yes, it represents physical activity. Very critical. Prof. Mansingh gave all those reasons. It represents nutrition, which, as a government, we have been advancing through school nutrition policy, which is now being discussed as a green paper. But we're going to have to look at the foods that we consume And, Dr. Stanberry and I were in agriculture, and we promulgated the eat what you grow and grow what you eat, and pushed for local production and so on. Very critical component of the way forward, because nutrition accounts for a significant part of your health profile. It represents, or should represent, rest. One of the changes that have come out of COVID, to my mind, is how work is perceived. And you would have seen some of the debates. In fact, I saw where one legislator in the US has tabled a 4-day work week proposal. Everybody says yes? Yes? Of course, I'm sure. But maybe not for the same reason that he proposed it. But it's an important discussion that must be had. In fact, I've started to discuss, because post-COVID, the typical worker has, to my mind, used the COVID experience to come to terms with their mortality and how fragile life is, and have reconfigured how they want to work, when they want to work, where they want to work. And even during the COVID experience, some of the adjustments that have been made through work from home and technology usage have now become mainstreamed. And one of the challenges that we're going to face as leaders is how we configure work to achieve the efficiencies that we have and we need, but at the same time promote the wellness culture. It's not healthy to work 18 and 19 hours a day. By the way, I look in the mirror and tell myself that every day, and I don't follow the example, right? It's not healthy to brag about an all-nighter for 5 straight days. One day you're going to fall down. I'm giving you the health advice. You have to find time for self-care. So rest is third. The fourth, and I have 6, and then I'm going to stop, is what I consider, based on my limited experience in health and wellness and my reading, is to have a sense of purpose. And I think I'm preaching to the choir here, because you are here because you have a sense of purpose. If you're a student, you're here because you want to achieve a degree and a profession, etc. And then clearly others who are supporting that endeavor have a sense of purpose. But we have to work more towards a society where people get up every morning and motivated to achieve a particular end. And you'll be surprised, too many of us don't have a sense of purpose. You always say the devil find work for idle hands, right? There's a whole pile of idle hands out there for all sorts of reasons. And perhaps it's just leadership that they need. But to my mind, that is critical within the framework of building a wellness culture. And even at this level, we should consider, beyond what we think are the obvious, to earn a salary and to live, what really is our sense, our objective and our purpose, and where do we want to be in 10 years, and how are we going to chart a course. It makes you want to get up every morning. The fifth, and second to last, for me anyway, to building out a wellness culture, is to have a sense of belonging. And, mental health is featuring as a very dominant part of our post-COVID environment. You'd have heard me talking about it a lot, about how we give support to each other. When I look at the suicide figures, I spoke to it 2 days ago, we're on track to having a 100% increase in suicide rates in Jamaica this year over last. And the calls coming into our helplines have expanded significantly. People are lonely, they are depressed. As I said, we are at the risk of even offending some. I say we are a society in distress for all sorts of reasons. Right here at the university, I'm sure that there are many of us who at times feel as if we can't continue. It's a reality that we must face. And one way to overcome that is to have a sense of belonging. There was a little sitcom on TV, I think you can still find it on YouTube, called Cheers. Anybody ever watch Cheers? You see that song where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came? You're not judged. You'll be listened to. You'll be accepted. We must always search for that that belonging. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be the church, it could be the university, registrar, whatever it is. But that's so important, and we must help each other to find that sense of belonging to the extent that we can. And the final is giving back, volunteerism. I don't know about you, but I have learned, I'm a volunteer all my life, I'm a politician. We don't earn much money. I suspect teachers, lecturers will say the same thing too, right, Prof? You don't pay your lecturers very well, right? I used to be a lecturer here, so I know. But it's not your fault, it's not your fault. But I subscribe to the principle that it is more rewarding to give than to receive. And it does satisfy an inner being and an inner sense that you have helped someone or a cause that is a worthy cause. And the older you get is the more you come to terms with that, by the way. I'm getting old now, so I'm probably more into it than some of you young people. But in closing, I applaud the activity here, the Mona Moves. I think physical activity is absolutely critical. I think in an environment of high stress, a study environment like this where there is a lot of stress, but also just making things work the way you want it to work, and in an environment where there's a lot of noise, social media noise, all sorts of noise and distractions, physical activity is a great relief to that and helps your mental state to cope. But I also encourage you to use the theme of moves to generate and to promote and to foster a wellness culture within your organization. And the reason why it's more important perhaps here than anywhere else is because at the end of the day, you are going to be the CEOs out there. And I'm giving you the health speech now. We're going to be promoting wellness in organizations, corporate, wellness in the schools, wellness in the communities. That's really what society requires. And in a post-COVID environment, it is more required now than ever before. And it's justified by the data. So commendations, good luck. And who knows, one day you might see me up here working out with Mona Moves. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister, for that inspirational speech. There is much food for thought, and I hope we take note of these important things. I love those 6 things, and let's try and adopt them, ladies and gentlemen, because our life is so much more than coming here and earning a salary, but that's a more comprehensive and wholesome look on life. Thank you very much, Minister. We are coming down, so we're going to have some entertainment now from the UWI Pop Society. Let's have them, please. Please welcome them.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tadicia Clark. I'm a member of staff, former member of the UWI Pop Society. I can't move, but maybe you can help me move. And sing along if you know this song, too.
Close your eyes, let that rhythm get into you. Don't try to fight it, there ain't nothing that you can do. Relax your mind, lay back and groove in mind. You have to, and we're gonna ride the boogie. Fly.
I wanna rock with you all night, rock you in the sunlight, rock with you all night, ride the night away. And when the groove it's dead and gone, you know that love survives, so we can rock forever. Oh, I wanna rock with you, I wanna groove with you all night, rock you in the. I wanna ride the night away. I wanna rock with you all night, rock you in the. I wanna rock with you all night, dance the night away, feel the heat all night, sunlight all night, dance the night away. Thank you, thank you. So that was warm up. That was warm up. That was warm up. Any Bruno Mars fans? Give me your, give me your, give me your attention, baby. I gotta tell you a little something about yourself. You're wonderful, flawless, ooh, you bet, baby. But you walk around here like you wanna be someone else. Oh, I know that you don't know it, but you're fine, so fine. Fine, so fine. Oh, oh boy, I'm gonna show you when you're mine, oh mine. Treasure, that is what you are. You're my golden star. And honey, you make my wish come true. If you let me treasure you, if you let me treasure you, oh, pretty boy, pretty boy, pretty boy, you should be smiling. A boy like you should never look so blue. Yo, I see all my dreams. I wouldn't say that to you if it wasn't true. Oh, I know that you don't know it, but you're fine, so fine. Fine, so fine. Oh, oh boy, I'm gonna show you when you're mine, oh mine. Treasure, that is what you are. You're my golden star. And honey, you make my wish come true. If you let me treasure you, if you let me treasure you, oh, oh, you are my treasure, you are my treasure, you are my treasure, yeah, you are my treasure, you are my treasure, you are my treasure, you, treasure. That is what you are. You're my golden star. And honey, you make my wish come true. If you let me treasure you, if you let me treasure you, oh, oh.
One more time for our performer, please. Thank you very much. So we are at the end, but before we go, We're not let you go empty-handed, so let us invite Ms. Nalda Thompson with a little quiz and give you some giveaway. Please welcome her.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I know that you all have the answers out there. Those two beautiful baskets at the back is what you're vying for, right? So, and the answers are simple and the answers are easy, and I know everybody's going to know them. So, name, I must say, today is a day that I treasure because I know the value of exercise. And Minister, I really love your talk. It was simple and it was straightforward. And if we follow it, I think we are going to be in a good place. I really think that. Right. Thank you, Minister. Now, here's the quiz. First question. Name all the faculties of the UWI campus. No, you can't participate, Bertha.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning. So I believe the faculties are the Faculty of Social Sciences, Science and Technology, Engineering, Medical Sciences, Humanities and Education, Sport, and Institute of Gender Studies.
Oh, no help.
And the Faculty of Law. I knew that one. Yeah.
Okay. Jamilio? Yes, they're right. They're correct. Okay. Now, which year was the UWI started? Was it? I wonder if you think the union president should get a vibe. Come. He's correct. He's correct. He's correct. Thank you.
But don't say anybody lifting up any basket. Give the people in them basket, man. And there's healthy stuff inside here. Thanks to Caramed. Give Caramed a hand, please. Nalda, you hand them. All right, Jeffrey. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's left for me to thank everybody for coming, starting with the minister. I know he has another engagement, but he made the sacrifice. Please give Minister a hand, please. And for a very inspiring talk, Minister, can I invite you to my church to give that talk, sir? To our principal, Principal Weber, please give him a hand. To Dean Mansing, please. And please sign up for Jamaica Moves, Mona Moves rather. To all our sponsors, there are not many, so let me read them very quickly. Sagicor, National Health Fund, National Commercial Bank, LASCO, Grace Food and Services Limited, Caramed Group Limited, Ministry of Health and Wellness, and internally, some of our critical health providers here and agencies aligned with health, UWI Health Center, Mona Aging and Wellness, and you heard the principal say you can get your booster at their booth over there, UWI Bookshop, Faculty of Sports, Health Connect, and GSB Legacy International. And I want to thank especially Nalda Thompson and Jamila Nesbet, who have worked tirelessly to make this event a success. Just to advise you quickly that throughout the course of the day, right here, we're going to have all kind of talks at 10:45 from the National Health Fund. I'm sure they'll be here to give some valuable information. Sagicor at 11. Community Health and Psychiatry, Mona Health, Aging and Wellness rather, Mental Wellness, at 11:30, and at 12:15, Academy of Sports, and between 12:15 and 12:30, come back and win more prizes. And you can see all the exhibition booths there. But more exciting for especially the younger ones, at 1:30, we're going to have our 75 minutes of aerobics to commemorate our 75th anniversary. And for there we'll have people like, these names must mean something to you. Shania Mago and Shirley, anybody know that person? From Sagicor, and Christiana Gonzalez and Nuff Entertainment. Thank you so much for coming, everybody, and God bless you.